Well, greetings and salutations. This is Rick. I hope everyone's having a great day. I thought I'd make a personal video log today. I would have liked to have got to the allotment, but all this week it's just been constant rain. It's raining out there at the moment. We've actually got some thunderstorms forecast for this afternoon. But anyway, I will be popping to the allotment later today just to go and pick up a couple of bags of rubbish because it's rubbish day today. And so you can come along and I can show you what's what so far. Now that's up and running. I don't need to run that at the moment. The problem is every now and again this will for some reason get stuck on starting Windows, and it'll sit there for 40 minutes and then it'll start up. It's just a strange thing. So what I have to do is start it up in the morning, make sure it starts up okay, and then I can actually put it to sleep. So that way if I do want to use it, I just hit the keypad and it starts up. Let's have a change of scenery, shall we? Tell you what, look, I'll give you a little look at the garden. Let's go to the door here. I suppose one good thing to be said for the rain is both my water butts are filled up now. And looks like my cat's got drunk and fallen over. But things are growing, which is good. Got the bamboo at the back there. Of course, the rain does mean I haven't had to water this lot because it's sort of, starting to get hard work. I can be out there for an hour now with a watering can. So I've got, that's supposed to be a blueberry bush, not blueberry, goji berry bush. And it looks a bit kind of scraggly. I don't know if that's what they're like. I've got another one over there. Where is it? Here we go. That's a goji berry. It's not looking particularly healthy. Well, I mean, it's healthy, but it's small. Cat scarers do seem to be working. I haven't seen a single cat in my garden since I put those guys. I've got 3 of them. I've got one there, got one over there, and like I say, the drunk one down there, which I've got to go out at some point and pick up. And I've actually found some little birdies on my little birdie feeder, so I'm actually attracting in only a couple of blue tits at the moment, but it's a start. Now, Gary Entropy, many of you may know him. He sent me some Japanese pepper seeds in the post, and only because I asked him for some because he was giving some away. And I've planted them in that bucket, but so far all I've got coming up is this tiny, 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 I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it, little spindly thing. I don't know if that is a Japanese pepper or was something already in the soil. But there's like literally 2 of them. Now they've been sat here in the conservatory for the best part of a month so far, so I'm not entirely sure whether they're actually going to come up or whether they're just kind of slow growers. Right then, I'm going to go down to the allotment and pick up the rubbish bags that I left down there last time, and I'll give you guys a look at what's going on. I'm not going to do any work down there today, but at least you can get a look at what's going on, and you can see what I've got planned. Right, let's go. We're back to square one with the flooding on the allotment. We've had so much rain over this last week that that ditch that I check every time I come here is full of water again, which of course means that everything is just going to be undiggable. Well, you may have noticed something's missing, and you'll be right. There's no polytunnel here. What I've actually done is I've physically taken the polytunnel away. I've taken up all of the plastic, and well, I'll go and grab the camera and you can come and have a closer look. One of the things I can tell you when I walk onto this new membrane is the ground is really, really squishy under my feet, and yeah, that's what happens when we get rain for a week. The ground just becomes impossible to work. It's just so sticky. I'm not going to be able to do anything. But anyway, let's step back and have a look, and straight away you're going to see my front end of my allotment starting to look a bit like a shipping yard. So what I've managed to do is completely remove the polytunnel. I've taken up all of the plastic apart from the bits underneath those paddling pools, which are going to come up the next time I come here to dig. So far I've been laying down the 2 metre wide membrane in strips this way, and I've managed to get 3 so far, and that means I've sort of got 6 metres progress from the start of the plot. And as you can see here, what I have is something called Pallet Collars. Now these I discovered about a year ago. Somebody mentioned Pallet Collars, and I looked up what they were, and I thought that is a really, really good idea. What it is, you have something called a Euro pallet, which is a very specific universal size, width and depth, and these collars are made to fit over them, and when they're not in use they're stored flat like so. Ooh, they're quite heavy, and they've got these big hinges on them. Let me bring one over to you and you can have a look, or better still, I'll bring you to me. That'll be easier, won't it? Okay, so what a pallet collar is 4 little bits of wood all held together on these rather ingenious little hinges, and these hinges obviously are joined together like so. Hopefully you can see all of that, but in the corner of these hinges they've got these little lips, and these lips kind of sit in the corners of the pallet collar below them, so you can stack them up if you want to. So if I do, oops, there we go, and then obviously you can stack them probably not as high as you want, but fairly high. So I actually ended up buying 32 of them in the end, and obviously they're not going to be used this high. They're literally, I'm only literally going to be using them single high, but of course they're perfect for raised beds. But the problem is I can't really do anything with them right now until I've expanded the coverings further that way up the plot, so that I can start to spread these around a bit, and then I can sit back and figure out exactly where I'm going to put them. Because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut out the membrane in the area sort of inside where I leave them, so it's going to be like a permanent thing. But obviously I've got to figure out exactly where everything's going to go so that I can get my wheelbarrow between them, and you know, I'm not going to sort of lay them all out, cut holes in them, and then sort of regret it later. So I've really got to think about it. So if you've got any tips or ideas regarding how, you know, what the sort of things I should take into account before I actually put these down permanently and cut holes in the membrane, do feel free to let me know in the notes below. You may also notice the table is missing from here. This is just resting here at the moment, but I actually decided to completely remove the table as well. I literally didn't want anything here. This is just kind of sat here because it's got nowhere else to go, but I can move it. But while I was covering this up, I literally wanted to go, you know, completely around the shed, and then it completely opens up my options as to what to do here. And what I'm thinking at the moment is, because I've got so much spare wood left over from the stuff that I've disassembled and the stuff I've got at home, as I'm actually thinking of building some sort of a polythene greenhouse structure to go here between the two sheds. But again, that's another project for a drier day. Now, as you can see up at this end of the allotment, the whole place looks a little bit messy at the moment. These carpets are absolutely soaking. You can see the remains of the polytunnel here. I've got 4 of these, and I've just laid them down for now, but they may go on to become fruit cages up at this end of the allotment later on. But my biggest priority at the moment is to do something about the compost. Now, I've also gained some extra pallets when I gained the pallet collars, which is fantastic. And originally I was going to build 3 new pallet-sized chambers on the back fence there, but I thought, well, if I build it on the back fence, it's going to encourage anybody walking past to throw their rubbish over. So, plus the fact I'm kind of not ready to start work there, I basically want to start at that end and work my way up. So what I've decided I'm going to do regarding the pallets is I'm going to, the composting pallets, I'm going to put them along the side of the plot. Now, there is one slight spanner in the works at the moment. Basically, this plastic membrane that I bought is 2 meters wide, so I've just basically been putting it sort of widthways across the plot. Like I said, I've got 3 in there so far. But what I've got here is, well, 2 of them, 2 1-ton bags of onions, and they're doing beautifully, and I don't want to disturb them. So I'm not entirely sure whether I should just work around them for the time being, because obviously if I dig them up now, they're just, they're not going to be the same, they're not going to carry on growing the way I want them to. So I don't know whether to just kind of do a piece of membrane that's long enough to reach the end of the plot, but then roll it back a bit and just kind of put a few bricks on it until we're ready to move these 1-ton bags, or what, because in order to empty these 1-ton bags, what I've had to do is cut them open and then kind of rake all the soil into the ground, and then sort of till it over to kind of get it as level as possible. So if these are just kind of stuck out here, if I build around them, they'll end up being stuck out here. Although I could empty them manually. I don't know. Bit of a quandary, that one. And also, how's it going to affect the way I lay out these pallet collars? Because obviously, if I can't use or utilise this area until, say, the autumn, then it's going to affect how I kind of lay everything else out. I'm going to have to have a really good think about that one. But if you've got any ideas or suggestions, do feel free to offer them up. Anyway, I came here to just pick up a couple of bags of rubbish today, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's just get in there. Bin men come first thing in the morning, so I think that's one. Yes it is. And that's another. Oh, and that's another. We've got 3. I'm not sure if I've actually got enough room in my bin at home. There's a snail. Don't want him. I might have to chat one of my neighbours up just to see whether they've got a bit of bin space. It's one of the good things about being the go-to guy in my neighbourhood. It's mostly full of kind of older folks, and they generally come to me if they need help with anything. So I don't have any problem sort of asking if they've got a bit of bin space at the end of the week. Right then, it's starting to rain now, so I'm going to get out of here and head back. I'll see you in a minute. So I think that pretty much concludes it for this video, sort of with a bit of a mashup between a personal video log and an allotment log. But I'd be interested to know whether, particularly during this time at the moment when I'm not making videos as regularly as I would like, whether, fairly pointless sort of just general video logs where I'm not really talking about much, whether those sorts of things appeal to anyone, or whether you're happy for me just to stick to the more structured stuff like I do with the allotment videos and the occasional sort of trips out in the van, as I get around to doing them. But like I say, every now and again I fancy just picking up the camera and having a natter to it, even if it's not really about much in general. But I don't know whether they go down very well or not, really. But anyway, be interested to hear your comments either way, really. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week, and hopefully I'll catch up with you in the not too distant future. Take care.